Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Game. If you have not already, please subscribe to our channel. Email us at gameshowchat@gmail.com. Please, like I said, subscribe to us. Hit us up on Twitter. All this information is right here. Connect with us. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like. There's a lot of stuff that we don't like about these guys either. It's all good. Today, we're going to be talking about my favorite sociopath in the world. We're talking about the man, the myth, the legend that is Bruce Wayne, also known as Batman. And we want to know if DC Comics is riding his coattails just a little too much. I mean, we've got Batman everything. And we have some people here today. We got my man Mega Sean. Obviously, he is on board. And we've got Mega Sean here.
Let him go first. Let him go first, because I'm going to destroy his argument right afterwards. Let him go first.
We have some tension on the set, so we're just gonna have some fun today, guys. Game on, Mega Sean.
Okay, well, to answer your question, yes and no. I feel that
you
those
can't sit on the fence. That's
well, no, but I'm gonna tell you why. I feel that those handling Batman they just have a better handle on what they're doing. Take for example some of the good things that DC has done. They've had Young Justice, they've had Green Lantern, and even the Teen Titans series, and then they've canceled it. So when you cancel a successful show, there's the only one thing left that's been, striving and been shining the whole time, which would be Batman. So whether it's Nolan's movies or the success of the Arkham franchise, Batman's still the guy left standing by default. It's not nothing he did. He's just the guy that's there. That's like, take for example, let's say we go Kobe Bryant a couple of years ago. I passed the ball to you. You passed the ball back to me. I passed the ball to him, he passed his ball back to me. I passed the ball to another guy, he passed his ball back to me. Apparently, nobody wants to take the shot.
Oh my God.
So I'll take the shot.
Fair enough. I completely understand where you're coming from. There's a hole in your argument, though, because they did cancel Batman Beyond at one point in time.
Well, I'm just saying
he's
had the most consistent success, but because they don't choose to venture out, and I think they're afraid. But I don't blame DC. DC's done nothing wrong. DC's doing their job. I think it's Warner Brothers that has, the hang up. Now, whether it was from that first Coke commercial with Alfred drinking the Coke from the first Batman.
Classic.
So, maybe it's just the money they got from that. They're like, hey, no matter what happens, Batman's the guy that kind of helped us rise from the ashes. And then if you look at who did Superman Returns. So let's roll back.
Pause right there for a second, because there's obviously like a 900-degree.
But look, he told me I could go. So listen, but hear me out.
He's getting redder.
But that's fine because but I'm diffusing a little bit of him because he thought I was coming from another angle. But anyway,
I'll give him that. I did think he was going to come from a different
angle. So you look at Superman Returns. He flies. Lasers come out his eyes. He can pick up planets. He can fly out of space. Of all the people to have this man tussle with, they have him fight you. A bald-headed guy who no superpowers. So this is how you bring him back. You might as well stay gone if you come back to fight Lex Luthor. So instead of a Brainiac, instead of Metallo, instead of Darkseid, the ridiculous amount of people he could have fought, they have him come back and fight a regular guy. Now, you know who makes fighting regular guys seem fantastic? Batman.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Green Arrow. I'm sorry.
So I don't blame DC, but I do think that Warner Brothers, they just lack vision because there's no reason for Superman to have not shined. But again, if you repeatedly drop the ball, and you wore the shirt, look at why don't we look at that Green Lantern movie?
I'll tell you this.
Kenshiro, the podium is yours. Here is your soapbox. Go. So back to Batman. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay. Now look, you're wrong.
Okay.
The reason you're wrong is this, because it's not necessarily Warner Brothers' fault. It is DC's fault. And the reason why it's DC's fault.
Who writes the checks?
Who writes the checks? Who writes the books?
Well, everybody's got a book though.
No. Everybody doesn't have 6 books like Batman does.
Oh, well,
Superman does.
No, he does not. Superman has 3 books right now.
That just means that Batman is twice as good as Superman.
No. See, under Batman's umbrella are books that don't even star Batman. You got the Birds of Prey. You got Nightwing, who's connected to Batman. You got Teen Titans starring Red Robin, who's connected to Batman.
Yeah.
You've got Batman Detective Comics.
Yeah.
You've got Batman: The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
You got Batman. You got Batman and Robin. Really?
That's a lot.
That's a whole lot. Okay, and to your argument, who makes writers look good better than Batman? You're right, nobody. He's easy to write for.
True.
So why don't you put your A-list talent on lesser characters?
That's a lack of vision.
And that we agreed on. This is all DC's fault. This is all DC's fault. Do they ride Batman's coattails? Yes, they do. Do they do it way more than they should? Yes, they do. Why? Because their brand is going to end up suffering. The brand is going to end up suffering. And I make the argument that the brand is suffering now because you had Green Lantern, the animated series, was actually very, very good.
Yeah,
it was very, very good. It was great reviews. They canceled it because the arguments were it wasn't selling merchandise, it wasn't selling toys. Did anybody else see any advertisements or in the stores any Green Lantern the animated series toys?
That's how bad it was.
See, no. That's not. See, you cannot promote something if you don't make something to promote it to.
This is true.
Right?
Right.
Okay. Did you see any ads outside of Cartoon Network for Green Lantern the animated series? How did you even hear about it if you just happened to stumble upon the Cartoon Network?
Hold it right there, though. I mean, but you also have to realize that we're in a day and age now where unless you're watching that show that was on Cartoon Network, you're not going to see any sort of branding or any sort of advertisement anywhere else. So that one, I'm going to move that one off the side for you.
Wait. But see, the reason why you would is because if you're making toys, if you actually really are making toys for this show, you're going to broadcast that on Nickelodeon. You're going to have it on Cartoon Network. You're going to have it on.
Spend the money on it.
If you're willing to spend the money on it. So, okay, so maybe they weren't willing to take that chance on it. That's another fault of theirs.
But you bring up a valid point right there because here's really the deal. What is DC's main job as a company? To make
characters, to make their money.
No, to make money.
I agree.
All right, so, and I understand entirely where you're coming from, and you bring some very, very valid points. But here's the deal. And I think the biggest point you made is that Batman is easier to write for. Therefore, if I'm a business and I'm here to make money, and I can make a pepperoni pizza and charge $5, or I can make a pepperoni sausage and 15 other things and charge $5, which is more difficult to do, which one am I going to spend time and money on? Because you're here to maximize the most money.
Yeah,
now
that's true.
The problem that DC has run into is that really outside of Superman, and even to an extent right now what they're doing with Green Arrow, who realistically is just Batman with a bow and arrow.
Yeah. The show, yeah, you're right.
And we even had this conversation the other day that realistically what the WB is doing with Arrow, that if you were to take Oliver Queen and replace that with Batman and change his outfit from green to black, it's almost essentially the exact same story.
It is.
And honestly, I applaud them for that. I don't think that DC is necessarily putting all of their eggs into the Batman basket. It's just a bigger basket to put into.
Okay.
It really is. Between the film franchises they've had, I mean, who has had television shows that have been successful? Even though it was campy, Batman.
Yeah.
And even though they just canceled that real crappy CG Batman, it was there. But outside of Superman, and maybe right now Green Arrow, your average Joe doesn't know who these DC guys are.
And that's partially their fault.
Agreed.
That is really their fault.
But it's easier. Again, you take the path of less resistance to get to where you want to go, so that you can make sure you're going to make money.
Okay, here's a counter argument. It is laziness, but here's a counter argument. Okay, what was the main problem with Marvel back in the '90s? Too much Wolverine.
Yeah.
Too much Wolverine.
Yeah.
They would stick Wolverine on the Avengers. They stick him on, a whole bunch of different books. What's happened since then? People got tired of Wolverine.
Yeah.
And because that last Wolverine movie made almost more money than God.
No. Wait. But they've soured on it. What's the reason? One of the main reasons a lot of people have turned against the X-Men movies because they made it more about Wolverine.
I thought they did that because they didn't like what Bryan Singer did.
Nah, it's because they made it centered around Wolverine.
A lot of it was Bryan Singer.
A lot of it was Bryan Singer, but they made it too centered around Wolverine. It wasn't really supposed to be centered around Wolverine. What did they do to Cyclops? They made him a chump.
Yeah.
Well, the comics did that too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you put too much focus on one character, everything else suffers.
Well, you're right. It has the potential to.
Yeah.
And again, if it were me, and again, DC's point is to make money. You have a universe that is infinitely large. Yeah. And when you have an infinite number of things, it's difficult to give them all equal time and parity. And I really think that's what the problem is. I don't think so much that they've said, oh, we're oversaturating the market with Batman, because 15 years ago they did the same thing with Superman.
Nah, to a lesser extent, not like this.
Okay,
but I mean, the times have changed, so.
I don't know about you, but look, I remember growing up, oh my God, Superman died. I didn't hear about Bruce Wayne anything or Batman this.
I mean, Superman was
Superman for the most part almost transcends culture at that Batman-like level.
But I mean, is it because they did try to use some imagination with that latest Green Lantern movie. So I have a question for you two guys. What is the problem then? Like, is it they don't want to have to explain, the galaxies because, if you're trying to get younger viewers or whoever it might be, you got to explain this galaxy, and then you might lose some kids. So are they, feeling that that their readers are dumb?
How did Star Wars do it?
But I mean, fantastic. But we had imagination then.
So you're saying the kids lack imagination?
Well, I'm saying, is that what DC is saying? Because Batman's easy.
Here's your answer.
It's a guy.
I got you here. I think
I'm asking.
I think one of the biggest issues is that what made Batman so big in the '90s is it was a stark contrast and different from anything else you had seen. You saw the Superman, you saw Superman as the big cowboy, and it was all brightly colored and everything else. Batman comes out, it's dark. It's got a film noir effect to it. The animation,
is the night.
Exactly. Batman's animated series was absolutely fantastic. The animation on that was great, which then opened the door to allow you to get to Superman, to allow you to get to Justice League along those lines. I don't think it's necessarily DC's fault. It's just we're going to throw a shot in the dark and have this hit right here, and it just happened to work with Batman.
No,
give me a 30-second rap, man. We're
okay.
getting it.
All right, cool. I think the approach they take to introduce people to greater characters by using Batman is okay. That's fine. Like you alluded to, the whole Batman the Animated Series got us to Superman, got us to the Justice League, which is great because you saw what happened at the Justice League. There was actually an edict: do not use Batman.
Yep.
Use everybody else.
Yep.
And it worked to the benefit of the Justice League show, because if they had made it more Batman centric, it wouldn't have worked.
Exactly.
It wouldn't have worked.
Guys, we could sit here and argue this till we are blue in the face, or in Ken Shiro's case, red. Guys, let us know what you think. Comment on us. Let us know what's going on. Hit us up at gameshowchat@gmail.com. I am Big Pimpin' Jay. Until next time, guys, game over.
You don't know Darkseid like I do.
We know he used you, humiliated you, brainwashed you, wound you up like a tin soldier, and turned you loose against Earth. Cry me a river. On the outside chance that this isn't another one of his schemes, we have to take action. So I suggest you get over it.
This guy's gonna kill us!
No, he won't. You're bruised, but you don't kill, do you? Clark.